Hello everybody, welcome back to the Chunky Steel. This is Jordan. This morning I have another emergency update on Hurricane Melissa, as it is now one of the strongest and most intense hurricanes of record of the Atlantic. And in this emergency update, I'm just really going to talk about the forecast, because I need to get this video out quick, because this hurricane will make landfall in Jamaica likely in the next hour or two. Probably within the next few hours, I'd say. So if you're in Jamaica, if you're not in shelter, you need to be in shelter right now, because the hurricane force winds are likely already reaching portions of Jamaica, and the entire island will likely at least feel hurricane force wind gusts, not hurricane force sustained winds. And this is now expected to make a historic landfall. This could even be up to 180 miles an hour at landfall now. So let's get straight into this river. First of all, looking at the National Hurricane Center, you can see right now Melissa is about to make landfall in the next few hours. Likely in about 2 hours, it should make landfall. So they have just issued an emergency update statement as Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunters, also known as Recon Hurricane Hunters. They have found 180 mile an hour sustained winds, and they actually found 984 millibar pressure in several areas, but the National Hurricane Center decided to go 896 millibars, which makes it the 6th most intense hurricane. If they had gone 894, it would be the 4th most intense hurricane. And I think it is a little lower than the National Hurricane Center says it is, but the National Hurricane Center's official forecast, so that's what we go by for the advisories and official forecasts and stuff. Look at our forecast advisory. This is going to be a little outdated, and the National Hurricane Center website's kind of laggy. So you can see the wind gusts up to 185 knots. I think we're probably closer to 215, 220 at this point. Sustained winds are 155 knots now, or around 180 miles an hour, and the wind gusts much higher than that. Probably going to make a 175, 180 mile an hour landfall in Jamaica. So if you live in Jamaica, you're probably going to feel hurricane force winds, at least Category 1 force winds. And some areas will feel Category 4, Category 5 force winds. And it's now probably going to make a Category 4 landfall in Cuba just because of how strong it is. Probably around 140, 130 miles an hour in Cuba, and then it's going to continue to gradually weaken as it moves over Bahamas and eventually up towards Bermuda. Looking at our wind speed probabilities, you can see Jamaica is feeling tropical storm force winds already. Southeastern Cuba gonna feel them. Southeastern Bahamas gonna feel them. Bermuda's likely gonna get some tropical storm force winds. In Bermuda, you need to start preparing now. No watches or warnings out yet, but make sure to just start preparing for around a Category 1, maybe Category 2 hurricane. Not gonna be as bad as what we're seeing in Jamaica and Cuba, but it's still going to be somewhat significant. Looking at our 58 mile an hour wind speeds, 50 knot wind speeds, Jamaica gonna feel them. Southeastern Cuba likely gonna feel them. Bahamas are gonna feel them. Bermuda could feel them in a few days as well there. And then our hurricane wind speed probabilities. I don't know why it always does that anyways, but Jamaica, especially Western Jamaica, is definitely going to feel some hurricane force winds. Southeastern Cuba going to feel them as well, most likely. The Bahamas, some areas are going to have them. Bermuda, you could have some, although this depends on what the forecast for Melissa changes in the next couple of days due to the path intensity, whatever. Now we are going to look at the forecast cone. You can see right now this cone's a little outdated, doesn't have updated information, but anyways, it's going to make landfall in Jamaica pretty soon as a Category 5 hurricane before moving up towards Cuba, making landfall around 140 miles an hour. Could be a little stronger or a little weaker. But will hit the Bahamas. There's hurricane warnings for much of the Bahamas and tropical storm warnings and hurricane watches for the Turks and Caicos Islands. And also no alerts out for Bermuda yet, but I expect by the time this is moving over Bahamas, we will have at least a hurricane watch out for Bermuda, because they're going to bring some hurricane force winds most likely, and also some significant flooding there. And also the eastern coast of the U.S. will likely feel rip currents. We can actually look at the rip currents map, and you can see here there's a high risk of rip currents along much of the North Carolina coast, along the entire South Carolina coast, of the entire Georgia coast there, and along the northeastern Florida coast, and even along the entire East Coast. There could be a chance of some rip currents there. So make sure if you're along the East Coast to pay attention to the rip currents forecast, because those are going to be dangerous there. And there could also be some larger waves out there. We will also look at our rainfall potential here. You can see portions of Jamaica will see up to 30 inches of rain. Most of Cuba will see 12 to 16 inches or more rain. And then portions of southern Cuba could see up to 20 inches of rain. Some areas could see over 20 inches of rain there. And portions of the southeastern Bahamas will likely see 6 to 12 inches of rain, so still some significant rainfall. Haiti, you're mostly done with your rainfall now. Only likely going to see about up to 8 more inches of rain in southern Haiti and the southwestern Dominican Republic there. And also, if you go to the key messages, I won't see if it's still there. This is a very rare thing for them to say. Failure to act may result in serious injury or loss of life. I have never seen them use that wording very ever. This is just a really bad storm. And the thing is, Jamaica will receive extremely catastrophic damage, because if it's hit the U.S., it would cause catastrophic damage. In the U.S., the homes are well built, and Jamaica, they're not well built. So the homes are basically going to be completely gone. So you need to be in a storm shelter, you need to be in a basement that's pretty safe. Otherwise, you are going to get injured or die. And Haiti and the Dominican Republic, there's going to continue to be catastrophic flash flooding and more landslides, and there's also going to be subtropical storm force winds. And eastern Cuba, the impacts are likely to begin later today. Your preparations should already be done, but if not, you need to rush them to preparation, because you're going to see significant storm surge, damaging to catastrophic wind gusts, and sustained winds as well, and some heavy rainfall and landslides as well, potentially some catastrophic rain. Also, the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands, you're going to see some significant storm surge, hurricane force, and tropical storm force winds, and also some significant flooding there as well. Now looking at our satellite imagery for Melissa, you can see it's looking very good in satellite, and the IOL is beginning to move onshore, and this is actually going to make landfall pretty soon. You may think it's already about to make landfall in like 30 minutes, but actually it seems like it's going to take a little bit longer than that. It's probably going to be in an hour or two, just because of how slowly the system is moving, and just because the eyes are very moving northeast. It's more moving in a northish direction at this point, so it's going to take a little bit longer to make landfall. And then even after Melissa moves through, there could also be some thunderstorms on the back end that could bring some more flooding and even some tornadoes in Jamaica. So watch out for that threat as well. If we look at our ensemble models here on Tropical Tidbits, you can see they haven't been updated, but they have them weakening due to impacts on land, and eventually it sustains out around Category 2 range for a day or two before eventually continuing to gradually weaken into a Category 1 and then eventually a tropical storm. anyways, that's all I have for this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel so YouTube will push this video out to more people. And also, don't forget to share this with your friends and family, especially those in Cuba, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Haiti, part of the Dominican Republic, and Bermuda as well. And also, please consider leaving a comment down below on what you think about Hurricane Melissa. And I will have more updates later today, probably. Goodbye.